Thanks for choosing to watch the video. Firstly, apologies, it's been a little while since the last one. Obviously we've had summer, which has been about some summer holidays with the family, went away for a couple of weeks. But now we are back and we are fishing and we're on the river again. Now, something I've been doing a little bit more of this season has been float fishing. Done a bit on the lakes, you know, had a session where I caught some absolutely stunning rudd, fishing shallow, spraying maggots. Really enjoyed that. So look at those beautiful, beautiful rudd. Caught a whole net full of these, just spraying maggots, fishing shallow, and we got a whole net full in the space of like half an hour or so. What's been really different for me in terms of the amount of it that I've done is float fishing on the river. You might remember I did some trotting last winter for the grayling. Really enjoyed that and quite keen to sort of maintain that through the year this year, and yeah, try trotting for different species like chub and barbel so that I get better at trotting, so that when winter comes around I'm a bit more capable for the grayling. I had a fantastic session, just stick float fishing, just with maggots, red maggots, just trotting along the river. I had a lot of nice small fish. You know, I caught a bit of everything, you know, gudgeon and perch and small chublets, before then connecting with really quite a nice chub. Quite pleased with this. Trotting maggots under a little float. There we are. Look at that, lots and lots of small fish. I've had gudgeon, perch, chub, roach, and now finally connected to something a little bit better. Happy with it. So I've really enjoyed that. But today you joined me on the river and I'm fishing in a completely different way. I'm actually trotting quite large lumps of meat, trying to catch a big barbel on the float, which would be absolutely fantastic if we managed to pull it off. So with all that said, let's hit the river. I am fishing with 8-pound line right the way through. On that 8-pound line, I'm fishing with a blob, one of the Korum Blobs, which just fixes on the line like that. You can slide them up and down to vary the depth at which you want to fish, and then literally straight underneath that, I've just got a hook, and it's that simple. You can add a dropper if you feel like you need to, if the flow you know, dictates that you do need to get the bait down a bit, but it's that simple. I've got a blob and a hook. I've gone for quite a large hook, a size 6 grappler. That's because I'm using a large bait. I'm using luncheon meat underneath the float, and I'm just trotting it down the river. When you're trotting, you do need to try and use the lightest line that you can get away with. I think ideally I'd be using 6. But I think, you know, it's too constrained, the river here. There's too much going on, and I don't think I'd dare go lower than 8. So I'm fishing 8-pound line right the way through. It's important though that you balance your setup. Ideally I'd have a glide rod, I think, but I haven't got one of those. But what I have got, I've got the Trilogy with the power quiver tip, 1.5 tip. I think that's the equivalent of, so it's quite nice and soft. And you know, I'm hoping that even though I've got a fairly light line, the rod's going to kick in and help me out. So that's enough of that. Let's get the float in the water and see if we can get a barbel. Right, this is just a bit of meat. Let's get that on. Got a lot of stuff you can probably see floating down the river today. And here we are, the first barbel on a loaded blob. Just trotted a bit of meat, and yeah, it had just gone down the run, only by about sort of like 15-20 foot. Float slid away, and a stunning barbel.
And incredibly, it wasn't long before we got another one in the net.
A bit of a tip when you are using the blobs, it feels like because they come on a wire, you can only use them once, but you can reuse them. All you need to do is add a little stop, like these, the Mega Grip stops. Put one of those above and below, just to grip it in place. You feed it onto the line using a baiting needle. Yeah, put one of those above and below it, and then you can just reuse them time and time again. Got another one on, and he's desperate to go upriver. Thing is, when they go upstream, I can't stop him. However, when it comes to pulling him back, I have got the flow in my favour. They're so strong, these fish. Incredible. There we go. I think he's going. Oh, no, he's not. Come on, come on, come on. Oh, yeah. I'm using a fairly light power quiver tip, and so these things on that rod, they go like an absolute rocket. Flew away. Brutal fight as always. And they're slowly getting bigger. Let's hope we get a really decent one before it's time to go home. There is the loaded blob, and there is a nice chub. Lovely. Fantastic way to catch them. Float just slid away. So I'm switching things up a bit. I need to get the bait down. So what I've done is on my blob, I've actually taken the weight off of the bottom of it because they come weighted, but you can pull that weight off, and that's exactly what I've done. So I've taken the weight off. I've already put one of the stops on the line. I'm now putting a baiting needle up through the blob, feeding it onto the line like that. There we go. Now the reason I've taken the weight off, obviously I need to put another one of those on. The reason I've taken the weight off of the blob is because I want to get the bait down in the water. If I left the weight on the blob, I can't add more shot because it'll sink the whole thing. So what I've done, I've taken the weight off the blob, and now I can add shot. You know, whether it's SSG, BB, I don't know, I'll have a play around. But that means then that I can actually add some weight to get the bait down in the water.
As you can hopefully see here, I'm able to let line off the spool. nice and gently, and just, you know, using the rod tip to mend the line and make sure that the float hugs that far bank really nicely, hoping that a barbel comes out and takes the bait. It's quite important that I'm as close to that far bank as I can be. Okay, so I've actually put some shot on now, just to help the bait get down in the water a bit more. Yeah, that looks a bit better, it's running deeper. Ooh. Pattern seems to be, right at the end of the run, seems to be chub. You saw me using the blobs there, but I feel this is possibly a bit of an upgrade. I mean, the blobs are really good in shallow water still, but I really, really like the look of these new floats. This one is called the Speci Stick. This is a 5 gram version. What I've got underneath it, if you can see, is a 4 gram Olivet. I've gone slightly lighter so that it allows me to add a few shot further down if I'm wanting the meat to sink a bit quicker. But there you go. These come in 2 different styles. This one, as I say, is called the Speci Stick. There's also an Avon style float as well. They come in a range of different sizes. I think that they go from about 4 grams right up to about 8 grams, maybe higher, I'm not sure. But for my river, I really only feel that I want the 4 and 5 grams. What I really like about these is the nice flat top. You know, you get a really good indication with that. I also like the fact that you've got a nice alloy stem. I like the Speci Stick myself more than the Avon, just purely because it's not as long. What's slightly different about it also is you've got line. I don't know if you can see, but you've actually got line that goes through this part of the float, like in line, which is really, really nice. Really helps when you're trying to hold it back in the flow. One thing you do need is sort of specific types of rubbers, really, to hold it on, different bands. You can see I've got quite a large bit of silicone around the top there, holding it in place. Another smaller bit just here. And then finally, I've got another bit that's right at the bottom of the stem there. So let's have a go with these, see if we can get a decent barbel. Right, so I think we've got a slightly bigger fish now. It's not tearing around quite as much. It was on the far bank for ages. I was struggling to get it out of the bushes. Testing this tackle. He feels heavier. Fighting different. Smashing. Yeah, he is a bit there. We are. Ooh. Well, I thought some of the better fish might turn up if I kept catching them, and I've had quite a few barbel now. And there you go. That's a really nice one. I'm going to stay for about another hour or so, I reckon. Then I'm going to head off home. If I don't get one bigger than this, then I don't care. I'm happy with that. But I will carry on fishing. You never know. Well, that was it. It didn't have any more. I was quite happy to end on that fish though, to be honest. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, then please remember to like and subscribe and all that stuff. It's starting to get cold, which can only mean one thing, and that's the predators. I've already been out a bit, doing sort of various video projects and stuff like that on the side, which keep an eye out for those. But yeah, if you are starting to think about lure fishing and the perch and the pike and the other predators, good luck, And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.